Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I am Audri Scott Williams, often referred to as the daughter of the spiritual grandmothers of the Four Directions. It gives me great honor to be able to take a moment and delve into what are some of the teachings of the grandmothers. These are four ladies who have guided me throughout my life from the time I was a child. In fact, I don't remember ever not having them as a part of my guiding system, sort of as I've gone through my life. So I feel very honored to be able to share. And for all of those who have been asking and asking and asking, what are the grandmothers saying? Reflections is an opportunity for everyone to be a part of the grandmother's messages and throughout. And we've got 25 years of recorded documentation of their channel sessions, and we are continuing that process. So let me begin, first of all, by saying that I really apologize that Oshanike Ankh will not be with us today. We did have a technical issue with the video, but she'll be back next week and she'll be sharing her wisdom, amazing inspiration for us as we continue to delve deeper into the awareness of who we are, that we can be exactly who we are here to be at a time such as this. So we look forward to having Oshanike, Queen Mother Oshanike, on our show next Monday at 11. But let's delve right into now some of the teachings of the grandmothers. I wanted to begin with a statement from Isis, the Isis temple in Egypt. When we did our walk around the world, we actually had an opportunity to visit the temple. However, that is a newer version of the temple. The original temple goes back many into the age of the pyramids. So there is a statement on the top of the pyramid that says, I am all that has been, all that will be, and my mortal beings around me, and I'm interpreting this now, all of the mortal beings around me have never truly been able to lift my veil. I start with this because I feel that this is a significant moment for us now as we look at what's happening in the world. I know that politically around the world, there's so many things happening, and we could go on. That's a conversation in and of itself, and I don't want to get us back into it. I just want to give that as sort of a shadow that lurches. But we have an opportunity as individuals, evolved beings, if you will, we have an opportunity to remember who we are. And that is one of the greatest teachings throughout the 25 years of channeling the grandmothers, is remember who you are. And who we are, according to the grandmothers, are much bigger than what often we experience in the world, in the day-to-day experience. Now, some say, well, that's the only experience we have. Not really, because often we're reacting rather than going inside and bringing what is inside forward to a better life, not only for ourselves, but for our families and our communities. Now, one of the things that when Isis says no one has ever been able to lift her veil, what it means is that's the veil that we have to journey with to unlift who we are. And she, of course, represents the divine feminine. And that is, for those of you who are women listening right now, that is that birthing space. And Queen Mother Oshanike is going to talk a lot about that next week. But that birthing space, how we give birth. Now, brothers, I don't want you to think that this is leaving you out, because you are very much a part of that process. But how do we unveil the truth that resonates in us so that we can be a dynamic force for change? And I started out by saying there's so many things happening in the world right now And many of those things are affecting us psychically, physically, in so many ways. And we're worried. I can't tell you the number of people who have come to me, which was a great influence on why we're doing the Reflections program now every Monday, coming to me, particularly after the election, just distraught and fearful of what comes next. I'm not in the political arena, so to speak, and I don't really want to talk about that, except to say everything that happens in our purview, if you will, happens for a reason. And what I believe is when Isis is talking about this lifting of the veil that no one has ever been able to do, this is an opportunity now in our alignment with what's happening on the earth, what's happening with people, what's happening everywhere, in alignment with the awareness of who we are. We literally have the opportunity now to lift the veil just enough to see the greater truth of who we are. So it's not making what's out there so much bigger than we are, and the answers exist out there. The answers exist right here in each one of us, right in this heart space. And when the heart space opens up, it's like a flower that opens up from the throat chakra down to the sacral chakra, out into the world, into the third eye, and bringing harmony together so that then we begin to see the world for what it is. Why? Because the inside out is informing what is truth and what is not truth. Please hear me on that. The inside flowering, the blooming of ourselves as we align with the chakras, with particular focus on this throat chakra and the third eye, we begin to open up something so big and so powerful, not only for ourselves, but when we align with others who are doing the same thing, we begin to expose a new aspect of ourselves, the collective harmony of the gift of love and the power of love. That's what this time is calling for. So when I talk about there are things, they say wars and rumors of wars and all sorts of things going on the outside, we can overcome that, not so much by dealing with the outside, but dealing with the inside. And so I want to talk about 12 gifts from the grandmothers. And I want you to hear this. You might even want to write some of this down. The grandmothers say that there are certain imperatives. And the first imperative is to understand the unconditional love for ourselves. Now, what does that tell me? If I'm going to make a shift or a change in my life, I have to go deep inside. I have to unravel this, whatever I'm holding inside that's holding me back. I have to find someone perhaps that can talk to me and help me do that when I can't get there myself. But I must do the work, the body work, the breath work. I must align myself with time, the true time, the 28-day calendar. I must align myself with all of nature. And then all of a sudden, that blooming that I spoke of earlier begins to take place. Let me warn you that as that happens, there may be things that show up that you really don't want to deal with, but move through it with love and with gentle to the best that you can. Because remember, the more you open, the more we become aware of our connection to Mother Earth, and how when we tread on her in such violent ways, we're also closing that space within ourselves. Our connection to the earth is so critical because the earth is like when you give a baby a formula when they're first born, or they're breastfeeding. I like that idea better. When they're first born and they're getting all the nutrients they need, then they're healthy and they're whole. They have a great chance of getting out there and moving into a more positive aspect of awareness of who they are. Well, it's the same with the earth. The earth is like that breast milk. The earth provides everything, and the timing of it is synchronized to the different aspects, the different layers of coming to knowing, to understand what decisions must be made when, to know when we're walking in harmony and walking in with peace, and know when we're not. So to be in alignment with the earth, we must be in alignment with ourselves. Because see, the earth is always right. It's not the earth that is destroying the environment. It's the cutting down of the trees in the Amazon. It's the dredging through the oceans and the various, to get particles, to get of certain kinds of fish, to do whatever, to just drain and suck out the energy of the earth. It's when we are driving cars and emitting gases. It's all of that. But see, when the earth is in her right mind, because she's not being violated through the things that she exists through, then we can be in alignment with that energy, and we can understand how mycelia is like a nervous system in our bodies, but there's one in the earth, and she has everything we need, and even those things that we don't even know we need yet because we haven't evolved to that point. The next thing is then we come into alignment not only with Mother Earth, but actually with the universe. And as that continues to expand and expand, we continue to build an energy force within ourselves that is in alignment with the Most High, by any name you may call it. The second area that the grandmothers have given considerable messages on is know your truth and live your truth. Not somebody else's idea of your truth, but know your truth. Now, that may sound like a big task, but within each of us, it goes with the statement before on unconditional love of self. If we're going to really delve into healing ourselves, then we must know our truth. What are the truths that we're holding inside? And when are they working for us, and when are they not? When do I need to realign to make my existence more truthful, more loving, and more kind? The third is all possibilities exist in the infinite moment. You know, we tend to take time for granted because we've lost the relationship to natural time. And so as a result of that, we're often functioning outside of the harmonics of the universe. Now, when that happens, we begin to lose sight of truth and untruth. We begin to align with something different. What, you know, I want to buy a new house. I want to buy a new car, but I don't need either one of them. Or I want to dredge the bottom of the ocean and make a whole lot of money so we can get more lithium and have more electric cars. When in fact, there are other resources and ways we can work with the earth to create that infinite potential to access the power of the moment. Do you realize that there are people who go into meditation and come out of that meditation with amazing sense of not only self, but their unity with the Creator, their unity with the harmony of the universe? And often these are the people who don't have a lot of illnesses, because illnesses are actually often stimulated by the trappings within us, what has been some of our life experiences that haven't been dissolved and released. And so now we want to go to the next one. Look with your eyes, okay? Look with your eyes and see what is before you. So that acknowledges that we have a physical eye, and we all know that. I have glasses, so I have extra ones. But look with your eyes and see what is before you. So I can see what is in front of me. But when I look with my heart and see, I see all there is. Because when you're looking with your eyes, you have a particular field of vision that you're exploring. But when you sit in meditation, I like to sit out by the fire at night. We have a fire that we use at night, and we sit there and we meditate or just sit in silence. When I harmonize with that, then what comes forward for me, I begin to see things that I didn't really see before. And they may not necessarily be physical things, but I might see the way the wind blows a leaf, the way a bird takes off on its branch. I might see something in terms of watching these ants. Anybody out there, I hope you've watched ants and seen what ants do, how they are so organized. I am fascinated by ants and how they move. So what I'm saying is we begin to align with nature, and we begin to see and recognize how we're not something outside of nature. We are one with nature. The other, now this is a very important one as well. All of these are, but I love this one. In service to others, we learn. Sometimes we box ourselves so much in that we lose sight of what other people are going through. And we forget to be in service to one another so that we can help each other. You know, especially at a time like this, when there's so much going on and so many people, especially our elders, are concerned and afraid. And not just our elders, so many people are. Well, we get to come together and we get to speak loving words into each other. We get to give comfort to each other by simply reminding ourselves that in service, we learn. We learn about ourselves. We're learning about the nature within us to give and to be in service, and how important that is. And that reminds me, you know, when we were in India, and every day we would go eat at the ashrams, because every day they serve free lunches for everyone. No matter who you are, you just come and get your plate. And see, that was a tremendous learning for me as I'm watching at this. I'm thinking, how many people in our communities are having challenges getting a good quality meal? And what are we doing about it when we know how easy it is just to make an offering to someone in need? Let us remember in service that we learn. The next, number 7, is the greater the acceleration of things around you. What do you think I'm going to say? The slower we need to walk. When we're in this state of anxiousness, we tend to just want to, we either retreat or we get real excited and we're trying to look in every opportunity and how can we do this now? And we get overwhelmed. We get overwhelmed. So the grandmothers say the slower you walk, the better it is. And I want to encourage that right now, because I know there's a lot of anxiousness and anxiety in our societies right now. Slow down. Take a deep breath. Go for a walk. And let that walking be a walking meditation for you. The number 8, listen to the teachings of the ancient ones. And one of the things the grandmothers have taught me is that throughout the world, there are so many different religions and ways of worshiping and so forth. What they say, the simple thing is what matters. When we go back into the ancient times, the most sacred guidance we have, we live in between the earth and the universe. And whether you call it God, Allah, Jehovah, whomever, it's beyond that, because often what we claim to be our religious awareness we have to stop and think about, what are we really saying? Are we just reading a book and being able to recite it? Or are we really going deep and doing the heart work that has to come forward to help not only ourselves, but the world around us? That's the choice that we get to make. Number 9, be mindful. And this is important as well. Language no longer speaks truth. Our language is so wrapped up around so many things, often things that are meant to literally deceive us. Deception, is what guides language. And we have to be very careful about the words that we use and how we use those words to reflect our intention and to dissolve or bring in our attention. What is it that we're saying I intend to do, and what is it I am attending to as I do it? What is the reason behind the choices that I'm making each and every day? And that may sound like a lot because we make so many decisions, but each and every day, every decision that we're making is having an impact either on our world, ourselves, or on the people around us. And so it's very important. Take your time, slow down, and think. I think that's weaving through all of this, taking our time to connect with the passion of who we are. If we're doing something and there's no passion and there's no drive and there's no energy coming out of that situation that is positive, then what are we really doing? What are we really doing? Find yourself in that. Go serve somebody. When we were on the World Walk and things just weren't going right, we'd run out of money, we didn't have food or any of those, so many things that could happen. You know what we did? We'd say, okay, let's stop. We'd sit in circle, often in silence, and then we'd all look at each other and laugh and say, where can we find somebody to serve? Where can we go to serve somebody or to serve some organization? And as soon as we would make that choice, we came into harmony with each other. And whatever it was that we needed was available to us in that moment. I don't know how to make that seem real to the rest of the world because I often said our currency was our faith. Our currency was our faith, that what we were doing is what we were being called to do. And we knew no matter what happened, that everything was in perfect alignment. So make sure your language is speaking your truth, and speak with purpose and intention. And if you don't have anything good to say, what did Grandma always say? Then don't say nothing at all, okay? Because words have power. Number 10, removing judgment. And that's another one. We have to look at how we judge the world around us. Are we following the words of sometimes our elders who didn't know any better, or people out there who had just gotten on a different, just a different energy altogether, are seeking ways of grandizing themselves and not paying attention to what's really, really going on? So how do we separate ourselves from being in that space of judgment? Because judgment is very paralyzing for individuals and even for countries, because we get stuck in what we've declared to be true when we know it's not. So the grandmother say, don't love only that which serves your purpose, your personal desires. Love even more those things that appear not to serve you. Let me say that again. Love even more those things that appear not to serve you. And why is that important? It's important because often we get ourselves, we're in this box and we don't see outside of that box. And it's not until we shift that we begin to say, oh my, I've been holding on to something. I've been making judgments that really weren't fair, or somebody's been making judgments about me that are not fair. And I know how that feels for me, and I don't want that to be what someone else remembers me for. So love even more those things that appear not to serve you. In consciousness, these are the things that make you grow. And growth is always towards balance. Give thanks and seek to understand these lessons. Now, since the grandmothers gave me those 10, there have been 2 more that I've added to their list. And one is, if we want to heal the planet, truly heal the planet, and if we're smart, we will want to heal the planet, because I don't know about you, but if the planet goes, I don't think I'll be around either. So if you really want to heal the planet, then take time to walk on Mother Earth. Take time to recognize how valuable the earth is to us. That is a sacred gift to us. Because if you think about it, everything on this earth serves us. The question is, how are we serving Mother Earth? Whether it's in very small ways how we treat our yards, or big ways in terms of decisions we're making to change some of our practices in the world that make our life more sustainable. We have to ask that question. And the last one is from that Isis temple. And there have been many different translations of the writings on the temple, and even when it's been destroyed and rebuilt. But what I wanted to focus on is the one that says, I, Isis, am all that has been, all that is, and all that shall be. No mortal has ever unveiled me. Let's talk about that for a moment. Isis is symbolically representative of the feminine, the divine mother. And so she's birthing a lot of the energies, and as well as the wisdom of how we can align with the teachings that have come through generations and generations for thousands and thousands of years. How the mother has divine. And that is why we wanted to have Oceanike today, but we ran into some technical difficulties. But Queen Mother Oceanike has done a lot of work, what we call womb work. And so the important thing here is we, male and female, if we are going to tap into even a piece of this immortal essence of knowledge and wisdom, then again, all of these 11 other NOWTIME imperatives must be embraced, and more. Okay, because many of you out there are healers of your own right. You have your own systems that you use, and I acknowledge that all of that is important. But if we're going to tap beyond this mortal aspect of who we are and truly understand ourselves as gifts from the Creator, with an opportunity to take this world to even a higher place by being in harmony with it. I mean, even the stars sing, so how do we combine ourselves and recognize ourselves as being one with creation, rather than having to own it, and in the process of having to own this and own that, we're destroying things? How do we live gently on the earth and tap into that aspect of our own immortality so that we make better decisions about life? We make better decisions about the world we live in. I don't know about you, but I'm ready. I'm ready to take this on. I feel that at this time we've moved into an energetic field where we have greater opportunity to be our highest selves. And so I want to challenge you in that. And so I thank you so much for being with me today. If there are any questions or comments, I think we have about 2 minutes. You can put it in the chat here, and perhaps I'll figure out how to find it. But I'm just excited that we are opening up this opportunity for a quick check-in. And I'm seeing... Okay, so we are going to be bringing the videos up that we have. We're also going to be bringing in different speakers every week, so that you're not just getting my sense of it, but you're getting the sense of everything from all different kind of places and spaces and people who have been doing incredible work around the planet, many of whom I've gotten to know as we've traveled around the world. When we walked around the world, we were able to access so much of this energy. So I'm running out of time, but I thank you for being with me today, and I look forward to us continuing to have an opportunity to share and to grow together. So I'm Audri Scott Williams. This is Reflections, and it's all about the grandmothers. Thank you. Ashe.